not.
It's not counting yours.
So,
That's like the GMC truck I had. I had four passenger mirror infield in my
That's
garage.
before.
You only had like a 9-foot door. Yeah.
That's next week's packet.
You been feeling good? Yeah, I gotta go to the hospital in the morning for a follow-up and another procedure of some kind. Yeah, UT. I couldn't find anybody around to do anything. Ended up going, see them UT. Well, I got a 9:15 appointment, and then he said his procedure, he can do it in his office, or whatever it is. I shouldn't be down there. Well,
I have 9 o'clock, Churchill special call meetings now in session. You call the roll, Kimberly?
Kathy Christian, Keith Gibson,
Here.
James Grigsby,
Here.
Ken Luster,
Here.
Tipton, Michael Walker, Dennis Yu.
Here. Thanks for everybody coming out. First thing we need to do is, I'm dealing with these committee things, and we found out we've got 2 aldermen on the planning commission. Buck Tipton is there and Michael Walker. And the board has to pick one, so one has to come off. So, that's where we're at. So we probably need a motion. Buck, you wanna stay on it?
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Okay, so we probably need a motion to let Buck stay on it, Michael has to come off.
Planning commission.
Planning commission, yeah. And,
I'll make that motion.
okay, we have a second.
Second.
It's just what we have to do. We probably picked it, but it's hard to get people to serve on planning commission and spend their time, so, that's where we're at. We had a second. Any more discussion? Call the roll.
Kathy Christian, Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Grigsby,
Yes.
Ken Luster.
Yes.
Buck Tipton, Michael Walker, Dennis Yu.
And, next thing we've got is, we got to look, and y'all remember probably a year or 2 ago, we upgraded the fire calls for the employees because we was having participation problems, and that seems to have solved all that. Well, when you do that, the cost of the city has really went up. As y'all well know, the fire department serves, Phipps Bend Industrial Park down there. And, Chad has looked into it, and our cost has really went up for 16 years.
we've had it since 2008, yes.
Okay, for 16 years, we've serviced that for $20,000 a year, and we no longer can do that. It's just too expensive. Our cost has went up to about, what, 50,000?
We're probably gonna hit 50,000 this year.
So, this is something we're gonna have to do, that we're just going to raise costs, because if you think about it, we're servicing Phipps Bend and we want to do that. But, there's a cost factor there. When your cost goes up, it goes up. And if you look at fire equipment, man hours, and so forth, that's a big factor, plus labor, which is man hours. But, that's where we're at. So what we'll recommend is, public safety, to meet with their industrial board down there and present the case and, show them where our costs went up and see where we're at on that. What we need to look at, if they say they can't pay it, then we're going to have to take a strong look at that. Because, that's not in the city, of course. We support the industrial park down there 100%, but is it fair or right that the taxpayers eat the cost of Phipps Bend when our costs went up, and we've been good stewards of that down there, like I said, and not been able to have an increase. But if you stop and think about it, for us to cover that whole industrial park down there If it's $6,000 a year, that's still not a lot of money.
We still getting water.
And we're getting a lot of false calls, which is drove right up too, and we have to go.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have a choice.
It's only gonna increase because there's more plants coming
Yeah.
too. And, you know, if you look at the sheet I prepared for you, we basically doubled our amount of calls so far this year. And since I prepared this for you guys, we've answered 2 more calls in Phipps Bend since this was done. So we're probably in 35–40% of our calls. All calls in the city are going to Phipps Bend. So, you know, the expense, if you see, we're probably averaging $2,500 per call is what it costs us to run a call now.
Have we ever had a price increase?
We've
Never.
done the same thing for 16 years.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's
so-
on there.
Yeah, so my recommendation is let Chad and Will meet with their industrial board down there and see if we can come to an agreement, on these increases. So that, and I guess I can, my mind went blank to COVID. A motion to do that,
You need a motion for that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
And,
Maybe
we,
represent the
we,
city and see what we can do.
yeah. Do we have a second on it?
Yeah, I'll say.
I mean, don't y'all think that's the proper way to do it, and explain our situation to the industrial board and then go from there?
Well, I can't understand any organization not having some kind of increase in 20 years. I mean, that's unheard of.
And it may be, Kent, I don't know how the industrial board works or not, but it may be they have to meet with those industries down there and say, hey, our cost is going up. If you want this fire coverage, you know.
That's where they'd have to start at, really.
But, yeah.
I think the county commission is the one that pays the bill,
Okay.
because it's in the.
Yeah, that's
budget.
right.
It's in the budget, because, you know, when I served on the budget committee in the county, you know, we appropriated the $20,000, you know, each fire department got so much money, and then Churchill got an additional $20,000 appropriated by the county. They are the one.
So is the industrial board the ones we should, Larry Elkins? and
Well,
that
you
group?
probably need to start with that, Larry.
Okay.
And then go to the county, because again, the county commission is one that will end up appropriating the money, they're the one who will give the final.
And the bottom line, that's good to know, but the bottom line, they come back and say we can't pay it, then we're going to have to make a decision as a city, because this cost factor is very high.
The county budget request is due next week on the 22nd. So, should I put in a request for 50,000 so we can at least explain it when we go to explain our case to the actual
I
county?
think so.
Yeah, you have to have that request in by a
Yeah,
certain
'cause-
time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because we can't wait another year, it's just too, like Chad says, $2,500 every time we go down and front, and those calls is really expanded, increased, we gotta do that, yeah, go ahead and
So
do it.
you're looking at 50 request, okay.
I just wonder if when you approach the industrial board, if if you end up having to set a price and then say, charge so much if there is a false call to that bid.
That's a good idea.
I think, so like in the city, we could make an ordinance saying, you know, false calls, we can charge. But where it's not in the city, we technically, guys, don't have any jurisdiction there.
But in the contract with them to provide fire service, could that come out?
Probably a question for Chris.
Right,
If
right, I
it's
agree. That's what I was
possible
gonna
to go that route, but, you know, we predict with the new businesses coming and everybody's went to alarms down there, you know, our alarm ratio is gonna be through the roof. It's already going that way.
That may, it may make the businesses a little tighter about their system and how they handle stuff.
Accountable.
More accountable, that's a good word.
Right.
Thank you. More accountable, because if, some of these small businesses, you're talking about having charging them, they're gonna balk them. Some of the bigger ones probably won't.
Right.
But it's not fair to the little ones, not fair to the big ones, if the little ones get the same coverage and don't pay. And that's why I say, if we can do in the contract, that might be a thing that with the industrial board, they present to these businesses, hey, you have a false call, you pay so much money. That's just something, my opinion.
You're gonna run into the issues a lot of times with these fire alarms. Changes in seasons will cause those to go off, but it's gonna be something that's just continually faulty. I remember one time, one of the plants down there, we had like 4 or 5 in one day. When you start getting that many, that's when you're starting to get into situations like that. Sometimes it's set off by the heat, different things in a lot of these different plants. There's a lot of work that we put into all these plants too. We've got to, actually next month starts going through and updating all of our pre-plans. Pre-plans just serve a purpose for us. Once we get on scene, we have contacts for people. We know what's inside that business or inside that residence, whatever, and that helps us to understand what we've got there. So there's more in it to it than us just running down there every once in a while. We've got to do that on the front end as well. So that's Kyle. I mean, that's going to probably be me, and some of the other firemen that's going to have to go down there, firefighters to go down there to do that and do tours. We've already done 2 this year so far. Tours, just going through new plants. And
You
stuff
should
like
have a
that.
copy of the original contract. It specifies what they required from us back when we done this, but, I would even, maybe, if it was up to me, I would look at, when we do a new contract, maybe even put in a percentage increase over time, because the cost of living, guys, it's through the roof.
Is this contract renewed every year?
It was not.
It
We
just
have-
rolls over.
Right, it just rolls over.
So this was in 2008?
Right, we've done this, for 16 years, we provided fire services for the county. We've never asked for an increase. We've done it for the same amount this whole time, and now our cost is through the roof. We cannot continue.
And Kathy, you come in a little late, but that's fine, but what's brought that on to you, if you remember about a year or 2 ago, we increased firemen getting called in. And that's
We
really
doubled.
took, we doubled their pay, but cost factor come into play. And we support that because I wouldn't wanna do it, and I'm sure some of you guys wouldn't either, but that's spirit our cost up too. But I think under the new contract, we probably need to review that every year
Right.
and sign it every year. And what I told the board, if they come back and say, well, we can't afford that increase, and we as a Churchill Board of Mayor and Alderman is gonna make a decision, that's not in the city down there, Phipps Bend. And we want to support them with fire, but if there's a cost, they gotta pay it.
Well, I mean, even in fuel costs alone.
Oh, it's-
I mean,
Everything.
in 2008, how much was gas?
Everything has went up.
97
The other
cents a
thing
gallon?
that I do ask you to take in consideration when you think of on this long-term, what we're gonna do, what it's also stress-wise, and it's putting on our employees. Just for example, we worked an early morning fire there last year. They could come in at 4 AM, an actual true fire. We were there, at 6:30, I started having to send people home so they could go
Turn around and
do
come
their
right back.
regular
down.
job, because they, so, and when I kept so many people there, but, that's putting a stress on our
But-
city and our employees.
But with our, public work director, we can monitor that just like we do snow. And we've probably done a poor job doing that. These people, we can sit home, it gets called out 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, then we have to pick up garbage, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
But in snow times, we send those people home too, so we could monitor it a little bit better and and alleviate some of that stress.
So is this maybe a time when we need to look at the way we do the fire department? And as far as, calling our people in, is this a time when we need to look at possibly hiring people specifically? I mean, I think we're getting to be had a lot of growth. So is it time for us to start talking about, do we need to hire firefighters rather than depend on our employees to come in?
That's something you guys think of. I'm going to answer this one thing, and, we're the only city still doing this. I mean, and obviously for reasons, but all the other cities that used to operate as public safety, as far as I know, have about quit. Johnson City quit, Jonesboro quit. I think it was just putting so much.
So, Will, could you write a proposal, just telling us what it would look like? How many, if we had paid fire staff, how many would we have to have? And what would that look like? Because I really am interested, I'd really like to know.
You would be looking at, if you were wanting to man that, I mean, we're looking at whoever would want to remain in the fire department, like our volunteer on-call paid guys. If we wanted to do away with the public works guys not having to do it unless they wanted to, or police officers or whoever, we'll have to look at staffing that full-time. And we're looking at a minimum of 9 full-time people probably to cover that, because you're going to have someone.
That's a big number.
It's still gonna require additional manpower,
Yeah.
you know?
That is a
Right,
huge
right, but,
Right. And then
I mean, is there a way to switch it up? I mean, right now, because I know if you've got people that, you know, that are paid, and that's their specific duty, can you switch it up and have firefighters that's their specific duty, but if the city needs other things,
If it were.
does that
okay,
make sense?
If it were just firefighting, they would be sitting around a lot. We would have to find something to justify that. That would have to be a first response type service, or whether it be working codes, you know, just like I do. I'm not only a firefighter, I've got 3 or 4 other titles that I've got to do. I do safety for the city, code enforcement, stormwater for the city. I'm trying to work on my building inspector. I mean, there's a lot of things, variables with that, but just like anything, you know, this is a small town, yeah, we could probably have 1 fireman here to be able to drive the truck there, but that's still not gonna alleviate the problem of all the stress that's on these employees. Because just like the fire that we had recently,
Right.
that was a lot of stress on those guys after working all day, plus, you know, all the firemen there. At the end of that fire, you know, there's a lot of work to be done after it's over with. Ken can tell you.
Yeah.
It's rolling up
Cleaning
hose,
up.
it's cleaning hose, it's filling up air bottles, getting the trucks back in working order. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. You know, would I like to see that for this city at one day? Yes, but I just want to make sure that it would be cost effective and it wouldn't put a burden on this city. You know, I like to have people out here that want to be firefighters.
Right.
Okay, I'll tell that to anyone. I want them to be firemen, because the ones that are made to, those are the ones I'm gonna have to roll hose and do all this other stuff. But we've actually got a really good fire department right now. I think what we need to do on that, maybe that conversation is maybe sit down and have us just a meeting with the Public Safety Committee and come up with some ideas if we want to try to change that. That way we can talk about that later, other than what we're actually here for today. I think that's something that we could do later on, whatever you.
Okay, let's do that. We gotta stay on top.
That's what I was.
I apologize.
Yeah.
To the,
And let me just say too, I apologize for being late.
oh, that's right. Another thing we've got is I sat down with, Will and Chad and asked them what we needed as far as fighting residential fires and so forth. And we have a mini pumper downstairs that was dropped off. And this pumper will pump more quicker water than our fire trucks will. And the mini pumper cost is about $360,000 to $385,000. There was this company dropped one off, and after the meeting, y'all welcome to go downstairs and look at it. This mini pumper has got 4,000 miles on it. It was purchased for a gated community, and they traded in for a regular fire truck. Because our streets are so narrow, a lot of our trucks won't go on residential because so many small streets here. So Will and Chad both felt like a mini pumper, and we had a little bit of discussion with Kenneth Luster. We've needed a mini pumper for a long time. We've got one downstairs that they quoted us a price this morning for $287,500. And it's in the bay downstairs now. You're welcome to go look at it. We really need this piece of equipment. It would help in our fire department tremendously. It's got 4,000 miles on it. It's a 2019, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's a Dodge. If you bought a new mini pumper, like I said, it'd be between $360,000 and $390,000. Plus, you probably couldn't even get one for 2 to 3 years. So that's the picture of the vehicle downstairs. The good part about it is the board voted to purchase this piece of equipment. With the taxpayers' money we've put in the bank on interest, that interest would pay for this truck this year. So that's a good thing too. So, I don't know if you all got this equipment before we had this special call meeting. But the reason we had the special call meeting is Phipps Bend, and we added this to it, and then, like I said, they dropped it off, and, y'all welcome to look at it. Do y'all, wanna purchase it? We need it very badly.
Does this have to be bid?
Because it's used, I tried to talk to our, auditor last night, he didn't call me back. What did you find out in the?
Due to our charter, because it's over $10,000, we have to put it out for bid. That's just our charter. So if
What?
it's anything that's over 10,000, we have to
Well,
put it out for bid.
and I agree with that 100%, but if you can't get it, that falls a different situation.
We put it out for bid, just
Proprietary.
get them in, and then if it's available, then we can choose it because it's available now, as opposed to having.
Well, I don't
to
see how
wait.
you could do that if they made an offer on it. Then, you see where I'm going?
Well,
That really would be fair bid to other
Hell,
people.
we bought used equipment before.
Yeah, we bought
$10,000
used equipment.
And don't have to.
Would that be something to
Maybe
ask
done in the
Chris
past,
about?
but I can look into it and see if there's any way around it, but our charter says anything over 10,000.
The key to this is you just can't get this equipment. It's not available.
Well, then it shouldn't be an issue, because we won't get,
It's not available, and I think.
if it's not
that's-
available, nobody else will.
Well, I say not available, it's not available for 2 or 3 years.
Right, it doesn't fall under the single proprietary type.
But I don't understand why you would have to get bids on a specific piece of used equipment that who else is gonna bid? I don't understand. I understand what you're saying, but that don't make sense.
I will.
Yeah.
refer you
I
to
really
the
think,
insurance.
under those scenarios, we legally can. I don't know these people, Will and them brought them in, and they dropped the truck off, it was going to work.
Just outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah. So if we don't have to bid it, if the board wants, I mean, it's a piece of equipment, these guys, I'm not firing, these guys insist that we need this very badly. We could, vote to purchase it, and if we have to bid, then, we could state that becomes no.
Well, I put a form of motion that we do purchase this if the auditor says that it's legal for us to do this without a bid.
Yeah, I think so.
I second that.
And then I wish, when this is over, you would go take a look at it. I think it's an opportunity. It's a lot of savings to the taxpayer. 4,000 miles, you can open it up, it's brand new.
Brand new one then?
It just sit there, and, I think it's a real good thing. For city, I mean, if you look
I
at.
can see the need for the mini pumper because that big truck.
Well, it's
This
just,
is
Keith,
four-wheel drive.
it's not just that, it would be our first responder on wrecks. We would equip it to get somebody, God forbid, out of a vehicle. It's just something this city has needed for a long time. We've never been able to afford it. And, an opportunity come up, and that's why we received y'all with the pictures. And
Did y'all get an opportunity to even try the pump?
We did, we took it out yesterday, we drove it, we pumped out of it. We need some 3-inch hose, it's set up for 3-inch,
Oh,
or
okay.
some adapters, but we didn't have them on hand, but we were able to put water in
You
it.
hose anyway.
We were able to put water in it and turn the pump on, engage the pump, and it pumps. It pumps, so.
So in other words, the city paid you guys to go play yesterday.
Well, so just for example, the older trucks we have here, they pump 1,250 gallons per minute. This one can pump 1,500 gallons per minute. It has 300-gallon tank on it, so, you know, our other 750,000 gallons of water we carry. That's why this one's considered mini. It's on a 5,500 chassis, so,
This truck, literally, I've already spoke to one of the surrounding agencies. It's got a set of extrication tools. We're gonna put that on this truck. Once they get everything approved through their board, that's a lot of money. You're probably, I saw a set of extrication tools the other day used. They're electric, they're battery powered. These are gonna be hydraulic, but those were like $38,000. I mean, they're expensive. Slowly we might be able to work our way through that to replace those type of tools, but this truck's gonna be able to respond, like I said, to wrecks, extrication tools. It's gonna give us off-road capabilities, for brush fires, within reason. We ain't gonna take this thing up the side of a steep hill or anything. But, in inclement weather, things like that, we can get that truck there quicker. And instead of having to worry about these bigger trucks to get there, we've only got two that's got chains on it that'll get us there in the winter time. So I think this will be a really, really good asset for the city.
How many people does it take to operate one of the bigger fire trucks?
One of the
I don't
bigger
mean drive, I mean to get it and start pumping water.
One.
Just one person can do it.
Yep. If you can get the hose off of it quick enough and get it out of the way, keep it from spaghetti, and Ken knows how aggravating that
You
can
gotta have
be.
somebody on the other end. of the
Yeah,
hose.
you gotta have somebody to pull the hose away from it, stretch it out, but pumping the truck's just one person. Now, if you're hooking it up to a hydrant and stuff like that, then yeah, it takes at least a couple sometimes.
Any more discussion on this? Call the roll.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Grigsby,
Yes.
Ken Monster.
Yes.
Bob Tipton.
Yes.
Michael Hawkins. Dennis Steele.
Well, that's it,
I'm gonna throw up one more thing real quick. Going back to Phipps Bend, I was looking through this, on the last page of the contract, it says either party upon 6 months written notice to the other, and it don't have the next page. So that'd be something we need, to remember when it comes, because we will have to continue this for 6 months if
Yeah.
the
Right.
decision is made, not the.
Chad and I have a copy there with the originals.
Okay.
from
May
the
not
contract.
print it, but
Yeah, if we
it's a-
were to decide to pull out, they could, something just fell through, we have to give them 6 months to continue operating until they can find something, which is fair,
Thought we were.
which is fair.
We didn't do the roll on the motion to raise the budget request, to meet with the industrial board. in Phipps Bend. We made the motion,
we didn't vote on
we never voted yet.
it? Okay, just state what's it vote, what is it?
This was for the Phipps Bend contract to.
Well, all we gotta do is say, all in favor, leave it and say aye. Opposed?
Well, I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here.
It's what
So I
we
have
made
no
about
idea.
raising the fees, meet with the industrial.
Chad and Will are gonna meet with them, we'll discuss.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
We adjourn.
Have a second? Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Will,